Originally published in 1982, The Day They Came to Arrest the Book is Nat Hentoff's only novel written for young readers. Hentoff, a multi-talented scholar and entertainer, was best known for his long tenure as a columnist at the legendary Village Voice, an alternative newspaper in New York City. He also worked as a music critic and professor. Widely recognized as an eloquent and tireless defender of free speech, Hentoff explored the issue in depth for adult readers in his nonfiction work, Free Speech for Me, But Not for Thee. For young readers, he used fiction to highlight the same issues, creating a thought-provoking narrative in The Day They Came to Arrest the Book. Though the story takes place in a high school, it is categorized as middle-grade fiction. The novel follows events at George Mason High School after a group of students and parents demand the removal of Mark Twain's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn from the school's curriculum and library. The controversy arises due to the book's frequent use of racial slurs and depictions of the mistreatment of enslaved black people before the Civil War. The conflict over censorship versus intellectual freedom soon gains national attention. Interest in Hentoff's novel surged again in the 2010s as book banning efforts increased dramatically across the U.S. This summary reflects the 1982 Laurel Leaf paperback edition. Content warning: the book contains repeated quotations from Huckleberry Finn that include the N-word. The novel opens with students Barney Roth, Luke Hagstrom, and Kate arriving for the first day of the fall semester. They are greeted by Principal Michael "Mighty Mike" Moore, an unpopular figure at the school. The trio discusses the sudden resignation of longtime librarian Karen Salters. Barney, the incoming editor of the student paper, is especially curious about rumors that Karen left following a disagreement with Mike. In the library, history teacher Nora Baines interrupts the new librarian, Deirdre Fitzgerald, to caution her about Mike's authoritarian tendencies. In her 19th century American history class, Nora introduces students to Alexis de Tocqueville's assertion that Americans fail to fully exercise their right to free speech. She assigns Huckleberry Finn for discussion. The next day, a black student named Gordon McLean tells classmate Scott Berman he's offended by the book's racial slurs. Gordon says his father, Carl, plans to meet with the principal to request the book's removal. Later, Nora and Deirdre meet at a cafe to discuss Karen's departure and the growing influence of parents and outside groups in deciding which books are acceptable for schools. Nora warns Deirdre that Mike will likely bypass official review processes by pressuring her directly. She confirms that this is what happened with Karen. Meanwhile, Kate, Luke, and Barney walk home debating Gordon's objection. Barney and Luke argue that Twain's work should be read and discussed, while Kate believes no student should be forced to read a book that uses such offensive language. At school, Carl confronts Mike, demanding that Huckleberry Finn be removed from both the library and the curriculum. Mike, attempting to appease Carl, promises to handle it through the faculty, but is clearly shaken when Carl threatens to launch a parent-led movement if the book remains. The next day, Gordon yells in the hallway that Huck Finn is dead, 29. Nora runs into social studies teacher Maggie Crowley, who invites a civil liberties lawyer and a conservative religious spokesman to debate the meaning of personal freedom. Nora asks to bring her class. Mike summons Nora to pressure her to drop the Twain book from her syllabus. She refuses and reminds him that official complaints must be handled by a review committee. Mike grudgingly agrees to start the process, but later privately pressures Deirdre to hide all copies of the book in the library. She refuses unless the committee formally bans the book. On the morning of the debate, Deirdre and Barney meet in the library and bond over their shared love of books. Nora interrupts to warn them that the library is about to become the center of a growing controversy. In the school auditorium, students listen as Kent Dickinson of the ACLU and religious spokesman Matthew Griswold debate the First Amendment. Before the event, Gordon, Luke, and Barney discuss whether they feel they have true personal freedom. Dickinson passionately argues that students must understand and defend their rights. Griswold cautions that calls for individual freedom may mask hidden agendas and insists that religion should play a central role in education. Elsewhere, Mike informs Deirdre that Carl has submitted a formal complaint. He again asks her to remove the books. She refuses. Later, Deirdre, Kate, and Barney debate the book's value. Kate believes it should be banned due to its impact on black students. Nora arrives with Carl's written complaint, which calls for the complete removal of all Twain's books from school grounds. Reuben Forster, the school board chairman, forms a 7-member review committee. Luke, Barney, and Nora meet in the library, where Deirdre brings the list of committee members. The group discusses each member's likely stance on the issue. The next day, Gordon leads a walkout during Nora's class. 9 students leave, but one black student, Steve Turney, stays, stating he wants to read Huckleberry Finn and form his own opinion. Meanwhile, Barney wants to publish an article in the school paper criticizing Principal Mike. Maggie warns that doing so will have consequences for both of them. Barney agrees to remove the section about Mike to protect their broader goal, preserving freedom of speech. At the committee meeting, both sides present passionate arguments. 2 days later, Nora, Barney, Luke, and Deirdre learn the committee has voted to restrict the use of the book. Attention then shifts to the upcoming school board vote, which will be final. Barney visits Karen, who reveals that Mike pressured her to secretly remove books from the library. Barney and Maggie bring this information to Mike, who demands that they pull the article. Confident in their journalistic integrity, they proceed with publication. The story gains both local and national attention. As reporters arrive at the school, Barney, Deirdre, Kate, and Mike give interviews. Concerned about the negative publicity, Forster tells Mike the school board will vote to retain the book and warns him against retaliating over the bad press. At the final meeting, the school board votes 4-1 in favor of keeping Huckleberry Finn available without restriction. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.